There's a really big challenge that exists for society in the way that information is now being moved around.
We are dealing with COVID pandemic. We are also dealing with a pandemic of mis and disinformation online.
The technology we're using these days is much more flawed and much more broken than we see at the outskirts. The key is to understand the threat of technology at this time. There's a real danger for livelihoods. Technology has the ability to be used against us as a weapon. That is quite an inconvenient thing to say. It is quite a dystopian way to describe the world we live in.
How do you make sure that the person is actually who they pretend to be, or if they are human to begin with and not malicious software?
Veracity is about ensuring the integrity of the data, making sure that when people are either sharing information, that it doesn't get tampered with as it goes along, or when people are receiving information, they're actually receiving something that's trustworthy.
Applications, they're always built on the principle of us putting data somewhere, right? So it's never that we have control of the data. And the consequence of that is actually, whether we want it or not, is that the other entity has access to that data. They are able to create things like a deepfake video, for example, that uses your images and can make you say something that you actually never said.
President Trump is a total and complete dipshit.
That applies not just to digital, right? So it applies to anything, whether you take the phone into your hand or whether you buy an Apple, there is deception and fraud going on, right? Because how do you actually find out whether what something says it is, the apple from the Hawke's Bay, that it actually is? And that obviously gets worse if things move offshore.
For Māori communities, there's big interest in the protection of cultural digital assets and ensuring that they're not manipulated or misappropriated by others. So information that might sit in a museum or archive, they're going to have a lot more kind of quality assurance processes that sit around it than, say, Facebook will. And so I think tools that let you understand what level of trust you might have in the information you're receiving would be really useful.
We're describing quite pessimistic digital future. We need a positive, optimistic digital future. We need to find out, is there actually a solution to that problem? Of course there is. And what we want New Zealand to do is actually take a lead globally.
Increase the use of technology, but also ensure that everybody is safe using it.
How do we put users back into control of their data? Such a profound scientific question, but it is one that brings us back into the driver's seat.
The digital world that's being created is being created by a few for the many. What we're seeing is a capacity for everyone to participate. We don't have a capacity for everyone to be a part of designing what that looks like. That potential still sits there, but it requires active attention, both by governments regulating what appropriate practice looks like, but also by technologists to design the tools that can help us keep that place safe and accountable.